name is Souvik and I'm a graduate student from Cornell University. And I've been working on the pixels of CMS for about 2.5 years to 3 years now. And apart from the pixels, I also work on one of the analysis channels of CMS, to be specific, the W to town UTKs. And I've been having a lot of fun working here at CERN. I've been at CERN since January of 2007, so about 2 years now. And working at CERN with a lot of people, new people, is definitely a fun experience for me, apart from just being rewarding. And hopefully I will get to publish with some data in the coming years.
So how long are you going to stay here?
I will stay here till I finish my PhD. So till I get some data from CMS possibly, and so that I think extends to about 2010, maybe the beginning of 2010. So maybe one more year.
Okay, and your nationality is Indian.
Yes, I'm
yes,
Indian.
and you represent Cornell University.
Because they pay me and they're educating me. Yes.
Okay, so you stay.
I stay here at CERN. I actually stay right behind the globe. It's just
you
a
live
2-meter walk from the globe. There's a farmhouse there. It's a wonderful place to stay.
And you are permanently here.
Yes.
You are flying. You are going to your university from
Once
time
in
to
a
time?
while, yeah, but not in the recent many months. I haven't been back to the US. No.
Okay, and so what you are doing here at CERN?
So I started working...
Apart your job, because you explained.
Apart from my job.
Yeah.
At CERN, or do you mean Switzerland?
In Switzerland, in Geneva.
Oh, in Geneva. Well, I go skiing, which is not with the CERN Ski Club, and that is around Geneva. We go to various places in France and Italy.
And could you explain what's ski club? CERN Ski Club,
the
because
CERN
I
Ski
think
Club
that
is...
not everybody knows what
the
it
CERN
is.
Ski Club is just a group of people who go out skiing, and they teach us to ski, sometimes from scratch, as in my case. And they take buses out and we visit other places, ski slopes all around, near and around Switzerland.
In the Alps.
In the Alps, yes.
Okay,
Right,
and so you start skiing.
I started skiing a little bit at Cornell, but I didn't know anything till I came here, and then I can carve now, so that's fun. Yes.
And what else do you do, for example, during the weekends?
Well, during the weekends, sometimes I hike with my friends. Sometimes in the summers I don't have ski slopes, so I go windsurfing on the Geneva
Lake.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's another fun thing to do around here. And besides that, I used to be addicted to Thai boxing for a while. And
what's that? Could you explain us?
It's a kickboxing style that originated in Thailand and near those regions, and now it's a professional martial art, combat martial art.
Oh.
And I got addicted to it, but now I'm trying to cut down on it and hoping not to relapse back into it till I finish my PhD and maybe then I can think about it.
Okay. And what about visiting your family in India? Are you going to India from time to time?
Yes, once a year in the winter I do visit. And that's how I ended up doing the whole outreach program.
Okay, so could you tell us what you were doing during your last visit in India?
Right. So, in the last visit, probably the most memorable thing was doing an outreach program an outreach talk for the LHC and part of the physics in general for standard 11 and 12 students in Calcutta. And they really enjoyed it a lot, and word got out, and I eventually ended up doing 4 talks at 4 different schools. That's what I did.
What you were telling to these kids?
Well, I was trying to convey the excitement of... Well, initially I was trying to convey the idea that that the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine, and how far we've gotten to understand this amazing and strange universe at its most fundamental levels. and I was telling them about how particle physicists try to understand the universe at its tiniest, at its most elementary. And so I gave them a scale of what the LHC experiments today look like compared to the first first accelerator experiments which were ever built, and how far we've gotten in understanding the universe, and how far back in time we can go to say something about how the universe began. So I was more intent on not just passing the scientific knowledge, but also I wanted to encourage the curiosity that young children have, but which often gets stifled in a country like India. And I thought it was important to have them questioning, which was also great because the talk lasted 1.5 hours, and then the question answers lasted more than 30 minutes. It just kept coming, and almost every kid had a question, and it was all really interesting questions, and I really liked that.
And how was it to talk to 11, 12?
They were surprisingly
years?
knowledgeable. They were surprisingly knowledgeable about the facts, and they didn't know what a Higgs boson was, but they at least knew what particles were and what electrons were and what up quarks and down quarks were, and they didn't know anything beyond that. So they were very knowledgeable, very curious, and definitely very enthusiastic to learn about these things.
So you told me that your father initiated this.
Well, my father is involved in a lot of social activities that end up being in collaboration with many schools and churches, and some of these people who work in the schools realize that what we are doing at the LHC, that his son being involved in the LHC might be a good idea, maybe a good person to spread the information in their schools. So I started giving a talk in one of the schools, and then got around and people wanted to know more about it. Different schools called me over.
And so how long was your stay?
My stay was for 1 month.
1 month,
Yeah,
long time.
but the talks were condensed within a span of 7 days because the schools were closed, and the schools just reopened in January, and I was leaving on January 15th, so I had to condense it.
Okay, so you did the talk at the beginning of January when they opened the schools. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to repeat it one day?
Yes, I probably would. I think it's imperative that people who are in science, scientists and of all kinds, not just high energy physics, go out and express what we're doing to the layman. And because it's more than just a social obligation, I think it's an imperative because today we're living in the 21st century, and here I am, and every time I get on a plane, we're living under the threat of religious terrorism and all kinds of terrorism that's often inspired by pre-medieval worldviews that have been discarded long ago by most educated people, but almost 90% or even more of the population is still under these threats. And it's really our imperative to expand this culture of science, the scientific temper, against which no such worldview can really stand. It'll all crumble. And it is up to us, scientists and scholars and engineers, and not only high energy physicists but biologists, to go out there and popularize science and bring out the new world culture that's really emerging, the new picture of the world that we're getting that is so important, not just for appreciating the world, but also for our own safety against these viral memes of religions. And
so do you think that you managed to persuade these kids that there is no danger in LHC?
I hope so. Well, yes. Well, we did talk about how cosmic rays bombard our atmosphere millions and millions of times, and it has done so for so many times over the course of our Earth's history that we have reproduced the LHC experiments thousands and thousands and thousands of times in the atmosphere. We've just never had it in a controlled fashion. So I think they were rather convinced that it's not going to be destroying the world. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much, and so we will introduce the link to your presentation in CMS Times. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.